Hey guys, it's the Raven Knight here. Okay, back with another For Honor video discussion. Today I've got something really interesting I want to talk to y'all about. Game modes. Okay, so since its release, For Honor has only officially released 2 new game modes different from the originals, which I can safely say were completely polar opposite in terms of audience investment. Tribute released in year 1, and it's easily the least played game mode of them all. Anytime I get into a Tribute order, I groan because I know I have to do it alone most of the time, since waiting on other people to join in would take an eternity, and when you play Tribute alone, it can take forever. It's essentially a game of capture the buff, and that's just not as fun. But the second game mode that was released in year 2 with Marching Fire update was Breach, and that game mode is probably the second most popular besides Dominion. It's awesome. A siege-style battle where there are multiple layers to the action. There are zones to capture, shield banners to gain, minions to stop, guardians to kill, a ram to destroy or protect, and a final boss. There's a lot to Breach that makes it an enjoyable experience. I really like Breach mode. But my brother has pointed out to me that it's time for some new game modes, and as we've sat around and discussed it, we've had several ideas, but only 2 stood out to me so much that I think the creators might benefit from making them a reality, or at least thinking on them. So today, I'd like to propose these 2 new game mode ideas to you, and I hope you enjoy them as much as me and my brother and I. Let me know what you think. Here's the first one. Number 1, I call it Infiltration. So here's how it's set up. The first thing you need to understand is that when my brother and I were designing these game modes, we were looking at the 3 big problems of For Honor that people complain about. They are main, gank, and camp. What happens a lot in Dominion matches or Tribute matches or Breach matches is you get gankers who will all bum rush a person and just take them all out in a sea of blades. Or you have people who just sit in a zone after taking a lead and just dare anyone to come into it. Or finally, you have people who only play a main character, will only pick one character to play as, never play anyone else, and this is very hard for new players who are still learning the game and aren't ready to take a seasoned veteran of that hero. So these game modes were designed to try to deal with that issue. So with Infiltration, it's a 4-on-4 battle, but with unique maps that are set up inside a structure, not outside. Most of the maps we've seen in For Honor are all in outside areas, but this one will be inside. Think of it like this. You got 4 attackers. They're the spies. They're the secret agents, assassins. They're sneaking into a fortress or camp or castle. And they're there to steal some information. They're there to steal some supplies or information. And inside are the 4 defenders, and their job is to protect the information to make sure it doesn't fall into enemy hands. Now, the concept is that the concept is that as they're breaking in, the map is set up like a maze of walls. Breakable walls, sure, but walls, which can be destroyed with heavy attacks. And there are traps all throughout, like spikes or trap doors, which are lever activated. And the goal here is that there are 5 banners within the maze that the attacking team must steal and get to their side of the map. Call that the information they've been sent to steal. So there are 5 banners. Meanwhile, the defender's job is to protect those banners and claim them first and plant them in their stands. Now, hear me on this because this is important. The way you decide who wins is who has the most banners by the end of the map. Do the attackers have the most, or do the defenders have the most? Now, there's an advantage and a disadvantage to both. The advantage to the attackers is that when they claim a banner and get it to their safe zone, it's safe. The defenders cannot reclaim it. They cannot run in and catch it again. It is the attackers for good. They've claimed that banner. The defenders do not have that luxury, because when they plant one of these banners in their stand, it can still be stolen by an attacker. So the pressure is on for the attackers as they get more banners. So let's say that they get the first 2 banners, great, but that means the defenders are going to be more heavily guarding their 3 remaining. So it's going to become even tougher as the attackers keep working. So you might be thinking, wow, that's really rough. What do the defenders have to counterbalance that? A mini-map. The attackers are spies sent in to infiltrate this place. They're not going to know the layout as well as the defending team. The defending team are allowed a mini-map, which allows them to see where the banners are first, see where the attackers are coming from, and see different areas that they might be able to exploit weaknesses, like try to separate them or use traps or anything like that. So the defenders have the advantage of understanding the layout. So even though the attackers can permanently gain banners, the defenders can plan out an attack better. This will discourage ganking a little bit, because think about it, if all 4 run to one person, sure, you saved that banner, good job. congrats, while the attacking team steals the 4 others and gets the win. You know, you don't want to just gank. You want to spread out. You want to think about what you're doing. You want to think about where you're going to plan your attack. Another thought that I had about this game mode is that what if the attackers were restricted to just assassins? We've never had that in a game mode before, where you're restricted to a certain class or group. What if the attackers could only be assassins? You could only play as a peacekeeper, a shinobi, a gladiator, a berserker, a shaman, a nutsia, any of these assassin characters. You can only play as an assassin. But in contrast, the defending team can only play as heavies. So you can only get warlords, you can only get conquerors, you can only get shugokis, you can only get zhongjuns. Because the defenders, that's the more stereotypical protector. They're the ones trying to protect the zone. So you have assassins versus defenders, and it makes sense too, because the assassins are going to have a quickness to them. They're going to get through the maze pretty quickly. The defenders are a little slower, but since they have a map to work with, they can plan out a direction and a style of attack. You know, this would require more communication. Instead of getting on the comms just to say, dude, you're trash, you're just so trash, uninstall the game. You'd have to hear, okay, man, I see 2 heading to the banner to the far right. I need you to flank around and try to force them into a pigeonhole so that I can drop them through a trap door. Then we'll claim that banner. You know, talking, communication, working as a team, that's essential in Battlefield stuff. So I think that would be a great idea. Now, I'm not saying that the assassin and defensive and heavy thing is how they have to do it. It's just an idea to help with the main thing. Because what if you have a person who mains someone like Shaolin and they end up on the defending team? You may need to learn some more heavy people in order to master that, you know, instead of just maining one guy and saying, well, this is the only character I play and I'm a beast at him. Maybe try other characters. That's what I do. And we would time the round to maybe about 8 minutes each. 8 minutes. I think that's a good way to keep the pressure on. But anyway, that's Infiltration. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. But before you do, listen up for number 2. This is the one that I came up with. I'm pretty proud of this one. I call it Battleground or Battlefield. Okay, so we haven't had this in For Honor yet, but a full-on huge field battle. Not a siege, a field battle. So here's how I see it working. Anyone familiar with medieval warfare will tell you that many battles took place in open fields. This battle would be similar to Breach with many variables, but would only have similar ideas to a strategy game. Here's the setup. The map would be in an open field outside of a castle, and it's going to work a lot like a football field. There are 2 end zones on either side of the field. One is the defenders and the other is the attackers. Now, in the middle of the field, in this massive field, and I'm not talking about a small map, I'm not talking about a Dominion zone map, I'm talking a huge, massive field. I'm talking a massive amount of ground to cover. We're talking a Breach-sized map just without the 3 independent sectors. We're talking an enormous ground to cover. Now, why? You'll see why. So you have the minions going at it in the middle. Now, these minions could be pikemen, or they could be Halloween event minions who have a lot of damage output. If you've played the Halloween events, you know that the minions are given extra damage, so it discourages warriors from going in and attacking them directly, right? So I would do that. And the reason why is I don't want heroes to just say, oh, well, I'm just going to go in and attack the minions and get the easy win. No. You'll see why. I've got a plan. Follow me. I've got a plan, guys. So here's what you want to do. As they're fighting each other, on either side of the map are 3 zones on each side. So 6 zones total, 3 on each side. In these zones, you may have ballistas, archers, what have you. Your goal is as soon as the round starts, your team of 4 is going to run to one of these zones, and you're going to try to start capturing these zones to get archers on the field to help out your minions, or maybe getting a ballista going. That's good. You want that. And as you're doing it, individual players are getting points. It's not a group point system like Dominion. It is an individual point system. Each person is getting their own amount of points as they work. This encourages players to actually do things, not just stand around and go, I'm going to sit in the zone and not go anywhere. I'm just going to camp here. Nope, because doing that doesn't get you as much points, and you want points. Want to know why? Points don't win it for you. Points help you get the win by contributing. See, like I said, those minions are going to be doing a lot of damage. They're pikemen or they're Halloween level damagers, you know? How do you get them moving? How do you help them out? Well, maybe you could spend points. Yeah, see, my idea is, what if you spent a few points to help yourself out? Like, let's say that you spent points on an officer. So you say, okay, I've got about 50 points, and an officer is 30 points. I'm going to pay 30 of my points to send an officer into the field of minions, and he's going to help thin out the herd. Maybe after 100 or 150 points, you can get a guardian, like from Breach, or a commander, and they can clear out plenty of minions and work really well. Or maybe you can call in an arrow volley with some points, or a catapult attack with some points, or call in a cavalry charge with some points. You know, use the points you earn to help your minions move around, to help your minions take ground. And while you're doing this, the enemy team's trying to do the same thing. So rather than just bum rush the minions and try to do it that way, you want to take zones, kill each other, kill officers that are summoned, or any of these other aspects to use your points and help move the game along, help push the minions. And the winner is whoever gets their army to the other person's end zone, kind of like football, right? I think that would be a really unique idea. It would be a way to it would be a way to communicate again. You don't want to just gank. If you just run around and gank people, you're not all getting the points because it's an individual point-based system. Also, you have to communicate. Everyone has to kind of say, okay, we can't all do arrow volleys, guys, so I'll send in an arrow volley. You call up some minion bodyguards. Yeah, that was a thought my brother had. What if you could actually use points to buy a group of 5 minions or pikemen who follow you around everywhere, and you can order them, here, you go take that zone, here, you go attack that officer, here, you go attack that hero and keep him busy. You know, this way, there's a lot of variables. Just like a real battlefield. There's lots of variables to keep in mind. It's not just a matter of, I've been playing For Honor since the beta, okay? And because I have been, I know every aspect of the Warriors playstyle. I know every other... No, you've got to be prepared for every changing variable. What happens if while you're in the middle of a fight, suddenly a bunch of pikemen are sent running at you? Or maybe once you think, haha, I've captured 4 zones, suddenly someone releases an arrow volley on the minions and starts turning the tide. Well, you better go kill some people and go get some points back. You know, there's a lot of pieces and parts to this, and as you figure out the game mode, you start to learn how to communicate with your troops better. You learn how to spend your points more wisely. You learn different ways to get the minions moving. Now, I understand this is a big order. This would be something probably even bigger than Breach, but I think if you could make this work, I think it would be an incredibly fun game mode. Now, let's say that we set this thing for about the same amount of time as a Breach mode game. Like, I think it's like 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I think it's 15 minutes. Let's say that you set it for a 15-minute match. Okay. Granted, that is a long time. And how do you decide a winner if neither side is capitulated? In that sense, I think what would happen is trial by combat. That's when you have like, you know how every now and then they have an event where it's like a death match, but everyone's in a circle and then you have to run and see who's the last one standing. I think that's how you would decide it at the end. If neither side is capitulated, you do a death match, and then that's where your experience as a warrior may come into play. But my point is, it would be a game mode that encouraged you to actually do more than just gank, camp in an area, or play your main. You know, it would encourage you to try new options, try new avenues, be experimental, learn the variables of warfare. I think that would be an excellent game mode idea. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts. I'd really like to know what you think of those. Now, it does need tweaking. I think that it does need a little bit of tweaking. So let me know what you think needs to be tweaked. What would you like to see change? Would you be willing to play it? And before I go, I'd like to offer some other ideas that me and my brother come up with, but they're not as good yet. We really need to think on them. Like, for example, my brother came up with this one. He said a game mode called Wheel of Heroes. Granted, I think the biggest problem with this one is not a lot of people are going to want to play it. He pointed out to me that one of the common complaints people have is like, well, someone will pick their hero, their main that hero, and never play anyone else. So it doesn't encourage to play multiple heroes, and new players will have trouble enjoying the game when they keep going up against people who have mained Griffin or mained Conqueror or mained Orochi and just are so hard to beat. So what happens is in this game mode, it is a random chance. You know, it randomly selects one of your heroes from your roster and you have to play them. This encourages you to learn new heroes, master their styles, learn to appreciate their movesets, and even learn some new strategies on how to fight them in game. Now, the reason some people won't want to play this game mode is because they like their main and want to stick with their main, and that's fine. But I think the real For Honor champions are not the ones who main one hero and just do it nonstop. I think the real For Honor champions are the ones who want to experiment, try new things, and have an appreciation for multiple heroes. Now, the other one, people have been asking me, what do you think about a naval combat thing in For Honor? I've thought about it, and I came up with this. Here's what I came up with. I haven't come up with a name for it, but I think we could have a ship combat if you had a really big ship and treated it like a Dominion map. You know, there are small little zones to capture on the ship. Now, what's happening is it's storming on this ship. So let's say that you're playing the game mode and your enemy team is really kicking your butt and they've captured 3 of the zones and you're struggling to retake the zones. Every few minutes along comes a wave, and when this wave hits the ship, not only do the zones reset, they change location. So now your team can't just camp in a zone and assume, oh, well, we're going to camp here and now we'll never lose. No, you better be prepared to alternate and move and change position, you know? Again, I haven't fully figured that one out yet. It's still kind of up in the air, but I think that one's a creative one. What do y'all think? Again, these are just some ideas that we've kind of come up with, some new thoughts, some new ideas. My brother really liked the Jormungandr event game mode with Breach and the Hammer of Thor. He really liked that one. He'd love to see that one come back. What are some ones that you'd like to see come back? What were your favorite event game modes? What do you think of these game modes? Do you think that they are ones that the For Honor devs should consider putting together? For Honor devs, if you're watching this, I highly encourage just considering these. I think that these are really cool ideas. I'd love if you gave me credit for them, but if you do decide to do them, at least just make them engaging, make them fun, because I think that these might be really fun. But again, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the Discord. Smash the like button, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And also, guys, just a quick reminder, doing a move very soon. I'm going to be moving to a new condo next month with my brother, and right now money is really tight. So if you look in the description, you'll see a link to my Teespring store. I know things are a little expensive right now because I'm trying to make some money before I move. If you want to help support, please consider purchasing one of the items currently there. New items will be added as time goes on, and I will be dropping the price after the move. But please help a buddy out. Please help your Raven Knight out. Really appreciate anything y'all can offer. I'm not going to beg, but y'all know me. I have a lot of respect for you guys. Hope y'all will consider, at least just take a look. And in any case, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.